Hi, I'm Aaron Hand. I'm out at the SPIE BACUS Photomask Technology Symposium in Monterey, California, where I was able to catch up with a few of the panelists from the MCA BrightSpots Lithography Forum. These industry all-stars had a lot to say about advanced lithography, and here's a bit of what they had to talk about. I'm here now with Franklin Kalk, who's Chief Technology Officer at Toppan Photomasks. Franklin, you talked this morning during the keynote address about the three waves of innovation. So those were traditional scaling and transistor materials, which has really developed over the last decade, right? And also, what's the latest one? It's vertical scaling with like chip stacking. Okay, so what's next?
Well, 3D integration will take place till probably 2020. What's next beyond that is total integration of MEMS, lasers, things like that, mechanics, and silicon as well. So all on one chip.
Okay, so anything then beyond that, do you see, to take us even further? What's next?
Well, you know, there's been a lot of work. Actually, Intel's made several announcements over the last several years about lasers on silicon, and IBM just made a pretty interesting announcement about some integration activity. But I don't think we'll see any of that for another at least 5 to 8 years. So that'll start late this decade to be reduced to practice. Beyond that, I don't know. That's a long way in the future. Now we're talking, you know, middle of next decade, which is, you know, 15 years away. So I just don't know.
Okay. You know, I've been hearing a lot this week about the concept of can E-beam direct write take over from EUV? You know, is EUV really going to work? But does it really need to be an either or? Does it need to be E-beam versus EUV?
It's interesting because there's a paper at the conference called E-beam versus EUV, and I tend to think that it isn't really a competition as much as a complementarity. Either of these technologies would probably be introduced as a second layer in a double patterning scenario anyway. So who's to say that maybe we'd get to a point where E-beam would be the second layer of an EUV first layer double patterning scenario. It could be anything like that, but I think they'll probably both be used in the long run. EUV will likely be introduced first, E-beam later, probably later this decade.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank the panelists from the MCA BrightSpots Lithography Forum for their time and comments. I hope you'll join these experts in an online discussion beginning September 15th and running through September 22nd. I'm Aaron Hand with the MCA BrightSpots Lithography Forum.